All right, here we go. What's going on, guys? I'm just getting started here. Give me a second. Charlotte is having some issues getting snow right now. Well, they've got a little bit, but underperforming while everyone else is overperforming. Let's see here. Interesting. O1Z. These models want to bring in almost 2. Interesting. They do want to bring snow in on the back end here. All right. What's going on, guys? You didn't get 0 snow in Charlotte. I have family there, and I've their family in Mooresville, just to the north. Huntersville, in actually Charlotte with a 1/4 inch on the balcony. Very little, but yeah, you didn't get 0 snow unless you live southeast of the city. Suzette, what's going on? The problem is you're in a lot of the snow wasn't accumulating. You have freezing rain right now. Models still want, this is the O1Z HRRR, and it still wants some of this back end snow before midnight to drop. I don't know if this is going to happen. Your HRRR, you can see here, wants to actually put in 1.5 inches of actual accumulation of snow into Charlotte, which would mean they'd hit their target. So the problem is you've been sitting, your temperatures have been okay at the surface, and you've been sitting in freezing rain. So that means you have warm air aloft. And if that warm air stays aloft, and you have warm air aloft because your low pressure is pulling in warm air like this above the surface cold air. Surface cold air, the warm air is lifting up above it, and so you're getting freezing rain even though you're well cold enough at the surface for snow. You have a patch of warm air sitting above you. Very disappointed in Raleigh. Guys, you guys are saying very disappointed like the snowstorm's over. Most of you guys in North Carolina have like 6 hours left. So, but it may, we had a lot of overperformances. We had a lot of overperformances in the Southeast. Specifically this entire region right here, all overperformed. Everyone there overperformed. Or actually even farther south, it was like this. All got more snow than they thought they were going to get here. Now, we're having issues here. We're having a lot of freezing rain through North Carolina. Now, let me show you what's going on with you guys, and I'll show you why we're having an issue. It looked promising for an overperformance in North Carolina too, but I'll show you what's going on. Let's go to our HRRR, our latest run. We'll go to our O1Z. So here's your low pressure system right now, and you can see it actually sees snow. It actually sees, oops, this isn't where I want to be. 1 second, guys. Let's go to, 1 second. Okay. It actually sees snow into Charlotte right now, but it's not accounting for the warm air that's sitting above. Let me get in here. Happy Friday, by the way, everyone. That's too far in the southeast. I guess it wants us to go here. Here we go. So it's actually showing snow, but what's happening, you can see where this is kind of where your sleet line is, freezing rain. This is where your low pressure system is. And you have below freezing temperatures on the surface through this whole region, most of the region. You have warm air from this low pulling up and pushing over. So you've got cold air below it, warm air above it. So I was just talking to with my brother on the phone who lives just to the north of Charlotte, and it's like 29 degrees and it's not snowing, and that's because you have at the mid latitudes you're above freezing. And that's what happens sometimes if you can really start to pull in warm air if you're sitting in this region. This wasn't happening as much. This wasn't happening as much down in Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama. I think it's because it was a weaker low too as it was passing in. So this low is actually kind of picking up strength, which means people up here are actually going to overperform still, but it's going to pull in a lot more warm air aloft over cities like Charlotte. Someone said we've got no snow here in Raleigh. I mean, you've got like so much time to get snow. So I'm not worried about you guys. We'll have to see overperformance or underperformance. Charlotte's getting close here though. If some of that warmer air aloft doesn't cool down, it could literally just turn into there's been like a quarter inch of snow that's fallen there. It could literally just turn it, remain as freezing rain. So we'll see how it moves forward throughout the night. I still think there's going to be a little bit more that falls. How much longer does South Carolina upstate have? Not very long. Yeah, maybe a couple hours still to get a little bit more accumulation. Veronica, appreciate you. Let's zoom out here. Here's our storm. We can look at kind of the latest HRRR totals as we move up the coast, what we're expecting. Let's go to here. You can actually see that this snow depth one right here is wrong. Total snowfall. Here we go. What is this? What is this HRRR model doing right now? 1 second, guys. Pivotal weather is bugging on me. 1 second, guys. Our O1Z still wants an inch in upstate, possibly, but that would be really, really far upstate South Carolina. I mean, we're talking up, near the mountains. Sleet here in Raleigh. Yep, you have plenty of time. You have plenty of time for that to change over. There is definitely, because Charlotte's having the same issue. All the way Charlotte up through Mooresville, Statesville, Greenboro. I think Greenboro's actually doing okay. Over to Raleigh, there's a pocket of warm air that's sitting over you guys. Even though you're cold enough at the surface for snow, because I have family down there and they've been asking me. There's warm air sitting over that cold air, and it's keeping it sleet and freezing rain. But you're in much better position if you're up Greensboro to Raleigh than if you're down in Charlotte. I think Charlotte will get a little more snow. I think that the mid level is going to cool down a little bit, and you're going to get a little bit more snow there. But I really wanted to show you guys what's going on with this. I want to talk about this. This doesn't look like it's our last snowstorm in the east or maybe even the south in January. So we'll talk about that. Here's our latest projection on our O1Z. It's not loading all the way through, but these totals have actually come up a little bit through this region. So that's interesting. We'll see if that actually happens. Let me look at the 00Z, what we got for the Mid-Atlantic, and then we'll kind of skirt around some other areas, guys. 1 second. I like to see what's going on before I start taking all the questions in chat. So give me 2 seconds. Really happy for people in Georgia, though. Georgia and Birmingham, super outperformed. I mean, there are parts of Atlanta that are close to 4 inches. So here, yeah, I mean, this would be an overperformance here. We'll see. This is the latest this latest HRRR. I don't know if we're going to get an inch in New York City, but an inch in Philly, maybe. 1 to 2, Maryland, Delaware, possibly. Obviously, South and Southeastern VA look the most promising. All right, let's take a bigger look. I'll start taking some questions here. Give me a second. Let me get to a better map. Well, actually, we can see what's going on with this storm here. There we go. What the heck is going on? All right. Jessica, appreciate it. Can you do in Nashville? What about Nashville? I mean, most of your snow should be pulling out now. What are we looking like total-wise for Nashville? We're starting to get some readings in here. Let me zoom in so you guys can see this. You see in and around Charlotte. Charlotte Airport's at about half inch of snow. Right through here. Close to a quarter to a half inch. Yeah, half inch of snow reported in Charlotte Airport. Up towards Mooresville, half inch. Raleigh, Durham, half inch. Greensboro, inch and a half recorded. Let's see here. Greenville, half inch. Atlanta, super outperformed. You've got close to 4 inches in some areas. Obviously, down there towards Birmingham, Alabama, close to 3 inches. That's clearly an overperformance. Nashville, we're recording 3 to 4 inches right now. That would be a slight underperformance, but that's why I was telling Nashville, I thought 5 inches was the most likely. You can see we have 4, 3.5, 4.3, 3. Everyone was telling me they got no snow in this region here, and we have snow reports You know, 2, 3, 2.5. I don't know. Maybe there's someone in here who got absolutely no snow through this region right here, but it's looking to me like that's not true. Unless all these people here are lying on their totals. I guess it's possible. Here's your Nashville region. 3 to 4. That's an underperformance. Kind of a good performance down in, really good performance down in Memphis. Like I said, the most surprising area I would say is Eastern Oklahoma did really good. And then your Northern Alabama, Northern Georgia did really good. Definitely had an overperformance there. Still coming down in North Carolina. So I still have a question mark on this. There's a long way to go. South Carolina's kind of near the end. Sorry, let me pull my screen over. You guys can't see that. So really quickly. So right here, because I know people are worried in North Carolina, you got some time here to still get some accumulations. South Carolina's starting to end, but everywhere out here this is still a question mark out here. So let me draw a better line here. You can see where they're starting to read in totals. Everyone out here is still a question mark. Your storm's still coming up the coast here. So I know people are like, yeah, again, I saw someone in Raleigh say they got nothing, but you got plenty of time to still get some accumulation, and including Charlotte. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully that mid layer cools and you guys start to see more, a quicker accumulation. Local guys saying, yeah, Brad Pavovich, whatever his name is. He's actually a good meteorologist. It's very hard he doesn't know. No one knows, how quickly that mid layer is going to cool. So, it's when you start, we expected more snow on the front end in Charlotte. That's what I'll tell you. And less snow fell on the front end. So there is still a possibility for some good snow to fall on the back end of the system, but that requires more of better luck with your banding because it's not going to be a big chunk of snow moving through the region. You're going to have some bands that are really, really, they're going to drop a lot of snow, but they're not going to pass through the whole region. So you don't want to say it's, you're not guaranteed to get in one. You could have banding set up here of a good snow that moves through or over here. So it's tough. You want it to see more snow on the front end of the system in Charlotte. Jessica Addison, me, Tensi. In the flurry, stuck for about an hour, and it's gone now. Yeah, Shannon, I know. We were talking about this in the live yesterday. Charlotte, up towards Raleigh, were consistently like this, right on the snow. This was always like the snow and then rain line. So, the NAM said there was going to be no snow in Charlotte, or in North Carolina at all, South Carolina, Georgia. So the NAM was completely wrong because the NAM showed no snow, and literally the NAM showed no snow in any of these areas. And you can see everyone's gotten snow here. So people down in the South overperformed. It's looking like a possible underperformance in North Carolina, which sucks. You did break your over 1,000 day streak of no snow though in Charlotte. Yeah, it did. It did snow in Charlotte, but we're expecting, hoping for more. We always knew there was a chance of some extra mixing. Yeah, I think, we have some more winter storms moving out east. We'll have to see if they get down to the south. I think there's a chance. There's some good model consensus on really, really strong troughing next weekend at the end of it. So we're going to talk about that in a second. Bucks County, we could get a trace to an inch. It's it's for the Mid-Atlantic, it's really going to depend more on banding. We don't have this big pocket of snow moving over like Tennessee did, northern Georgia, Arkansas. This is a big, just huge region of snow out here that fell. We're not going to, this type of stuff isn't going to flow over us. We're going to see some banding. So let's talk about what possibly might be to come. We're going to have to see what happens in the Carolinas through the night, and then we'll look at what's going to progress as that moves up the Mid-Atlantic coast a little. But let's look at what we're seeing moving forward. Something is going. Oh, I had model trend loop on. Oh, that's really annoying. Let me go back to single image. That's what was going on here. Here we go. Forecast loop. Let's take a look at what we could see moving forward. Appreciate the follows, guys. Thank you. Yeah, okay. I've there's been like 1,000 people talking about how it barely snowed in North Carolina. I know. It didn't barely snow in North Carolina. It's just farther off to the west. So we've been looking at snow totals in North Carolina. So here you go. If you guys want to look at some snow totals in North Carolina. North Carolina is a big state. We do have some snow totals up near Boone at around 4 to 5 inches already. That snow is going to continue. We've got snow in and around Asheville at about an inch, although this is going to continue to fall. And we've got snow up in Greensboro at about 1.5 inches. They're expecting that to increase about ½ inch up in Durham, Raleigh. You got a 1/4 inch recorded down at Charlotte Airport, or ½ inch recorded down at Charlotte Airport. Charlotte area is struggling right now because there's just warm pocket of air sitting over that cold surface air. And it's really, really stifling your snow totals. You need it heavier snow totals on the front of this storm, like most of these other places got. And you had some warm air settle in above. And I'll say it again. As this low pressure increased in strength, you guys can't see that. As this low pressure increased in strength, it pulled more warm air into the mid latitudes up there. So that's what turned your snow into freezing rain. Still a possibility that we're going to see some good snow on the back end, but it's tough because you need that mid layer to cool. So that's what's going on with that. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, guys, Maryland, we'll see. You got there's no big snow totals projected for the Mid-Atlantic or up the coast. So if you guys see snow, it's going to be a trace to an inch. Maybe someone gets lucky, gets 1.5 inches. It's just going to be leftover snow banding. Southeast Virginia could see some okay snow totals. But we'll go over those Mid-Atlantic snow totals in Northeast in a little bit here. I want to show you what could be coming. Mooresville barely got 1 inch of snow today, sadly. So, yeah, it's not done. Not done yet. Everyone in North Carolina is panicking. You still got snow falling. There's a chance it just stays as freezing rain and sleet. But there's a chance, like I said, I'll just keep saying it. There's a chance that mid layer cools. So I hope for your guys' sake it cools and you get a surprise little snow as you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh, that's a little bit better. You blame Brad Penovich. Yeah, even him yesterday was saying he still expected Charlotte to get 1 inch or more. So it's what we would call an underperformance in Charlotte. Mother Nature is weird. Yep, ½ inch is enough. Yep. Brad put heaters to prevent us, right? Northeast, Georgia got 3+ inches. Yeah, I mean, a lot of Georgia. Yeah, I mean, around Atlanta got 3 to 4 inches. So much farther south than even North Georgia, Kelly. You can see, I mean, there was 3 inches really far south in Georgia, like towards central Georgia almost. We had snow falling 2 inches way down here. You had some snow falling almost towards Mackin. That's how you pronounce it. Really, really far south. So here's what we got moving forwards. Let's look at our GFS really quickly, and we'll talk more about the storm that's still ongoing here in a second because we could still have an ice issue. Let's go to our 18Z GFS. We'll look at this quickly. This storm's going to move out. We're going to get a lot of cold air in behind it. You're going to get some okay snow up through the northern plains, North Dakota, South Dakota, and in through central to north Minnesota and Wisconsin. Our snow total, we're going to get a good little, I don't know, maybe 2 to 4 inches up through this region. It's not going to be anything impressive, but you guys will actually get snow. You guys have had a little bit of a drought of snow. That'll be over the weekend, so that's nice for you guys. As we push forward, temperatures stay cold for quite a while. We're going to see a little bit of a warm up in Texas as we get into next weekend, likely Thursday to Sunday, maybe. We're going to see a warm up down here in the South Central. Significant, probably above average temperatures for January. But right behind that, this is what we're watching. Okay, so this is about 180 plus hours out. So take it with a grain of salt. But again, models can see troughing very well at this range still. That's why a lot of times, Sunshine, I appreciate you. Lenny, thank you guys. Jess. This is an event happening on a macro level, not a micro level. Seeing how much snow is going to fall in a tiny city, out in the future is very hard. But seeing a big troughing event, and when you have a lot of model consensus, which we do, it's much easier to see. So the GFS, Euro, Canadian, CFS all have this event taking place. Now the GFS is pretty aggressive with it. You can see it wants to bring snow back into Texas, snow back into Tennessee, the Carolinas, maybe even back down into the Southeast, farther than that. And then it wants to ride up the coast, snow Mid-Atlantic, snow New England. Now, I wouldn't look at this radar and say this is going to happen. You never look at the actual composite radar, the future radar, and say that's going to happen. But what would not be surprising and what we have consensus on is a lot of energy down here in the Gulf. And this is why we saw the snowstorm that's happening right now. We saw almost 10 days out because there was strong model consensus from the GFS on a low pressure developing in the subtropics, which the GFS is good at. And the Euro and the models that are good at this cold air troughing kept seeing that cold air troughing. So we're going to have a similar event setting up somewhere between the 19th, maybe the 18th and the 21st. We'll give a wider time frame because it's really hard to tell, of some troughing moving in and some big energy down here. This is another sign for potential snow, and the temperatures are going to be right. So, will this shift north? Maybe. Will it shift south? Maybe. We have to wait. But let's go through a little bit of what's going on. So we've got the GFS. Here's your euro. Very similar look. You can see this. Very similar look to the GFS of a lot of a potential southern snow right there. You can look at your CFS. Same type of thing as we move through this time frame. See it right here? Same exact look. You can go to your Canadian. You can get consensus very easily on troughing. It's much easier to see these far out. Look at the Canadian. Same type of event. Same type of event right there. So we'll look at this from. Let's go up here. Let's go to. I'll go to my 18C and I want to show you guys what's going on with this. We'll go here. We'll pull out a little bit. I also want to take a look at our updated teleconnections for the end of North Carolina never getting snow again. North Carolina's getting snow right now. It depends where you are, though. So today it was such an amazing snow day in Atlanta. I know you guys did. You guys got more than projected. That's good. So still AO pushing positive. I just want to look at these real quick, guys. NAO neutral to positive, PNA positive. Okay, interesting. Still not a bad look for the east. Not as great as it looked before. Still not a bad look for winter storms in the east. You can see pushing in Sunday, Monday. We want another. This is going to be a lot of cold air right here, guys. When you see these blues here, this is associated with low pressure, cold air, a more stormy pattern. Okay, these are your high pressures right here. This is your ridging. This is your troughing. The ridging. This is what's causing a lot of winds right now out in California still. This pressure gradient between this high pressure out here to the west and this low pressure, that literally is our winter storm. Lots of strong winds in here, causes a strong pressure gradient. So our storm's going to move out. We got some more troughing sticking around. This is what we call zonal troughing, where the whole country is going to be kind of cool from coast to coast as we move into Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Then we get a quick little warm up here. This is when Texas, especially Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Arkansas are going to see some pretty warm temperatures as we get into Wednesday, Thursday, Friday next week likely. And then this is an event that every global model sees. They all read it a tiny bit differently. This would be a very big trough, okay, extending up very far to the north. This right here, I almost don't want to talk about it too much. I think this troughing event's going to happen. We don't know how significant it's going to be. I mean, you have consensus across every single global model that this is happening. But if we did see this trough, and we did have this blocking pattern with this ridging out here, and we did have a Greenland block as well, which is when you have a high pressure sitting over Greenland. This is the type of thing that can stir up some moisture and pull it up the coast. This is the type of pattern, again, that can bring you a big storm to the south or potentially up to the mid-Atlantic and New England coast. So that's your GFS look. Now, really quickly, I want to show you guys what's going on, why this is looking. And this is what we did. The storm that's happening right now, we were doing this 7 days before it, 10 days before it. And it happened, guys. So this is your look. Look at the euro. This is a beautiful sign. So this is your euro. Same type of look. Why is it good to have blocking out here especially? Because that allows the cold air to stay in longer and to bring more surface cold air down here. So, you can have these systems just move through quickly and scoop out. But this right here is a fantastic look. This right here is what you'd call an omega block. Like that. Looks like the omega symbol. And this is just a ton of cold surface air from very far north. And with the block down here, you can get some good storm action moving up the coast again. So this is what every model sees. This is the 19th to the 21st. I can show you the Canadian too, guys. It's crazy. You can have all these models seeing the same thing out here. Watch the Canadian. Same exact thing. It's same exact thing. Omega block. This is a great look to see right here for another chance for snow down south. Now, I'm not ready to say that this is going to be a southern snowstorm because the models don't agree on how amplified this trough will be at the end of next weekend. The Canadian, it has it a little bit farther to the north. The Euro and GFS are more aggressive. It's a more amplified trough on the Euro and GFS. So I'm not ready to say that's going to be a southern snowstorm. I'm ready to say it could be. But it's going to be snow for someone. It's going to be a big snow for someone out here. and it's going to be a big snow for someone out here. And that's probably going to be 8-9 days out. So too far to tell where it's going to go, how much it's going to drop, but it's going to be a big snow for someone out in the east, potentially the south. I'm going to be staring at this thing for the next 200 hours of my life. Send it to North Iowa. You could get some snow. I mean, listen, you could get this thing to bring snow through the Central Plains up towards the Midwest before diving down and up. I mean, with this type of Omega block pattern, it's possible. This could be a big snowstorm for a lot of people. So, Sunshine, Christine, what's going on? Donna, Laddie, Zach, Misty, Tommy, Lee, what's going on? My Facebook is full of Mooresville people mad. I know. Guys, it's so unfortunate. You know, you saw, let's get back down here on a little bit more of a micro level. We saw so much overperformance yesterday, and it really looked like we'd see that continuing, or the potential for it to continue. And you can actually see what's happening here. This low pressure, which was maybe 1,010 to 1,008 yesterday, is getting closer to 1,005 to 1,000. As this low pressure deepens, what it was doing was pulling up more and more warm air up into the mid-latitudes, above Charlotte, above your areas in South Carolina and North Carolina, where we thought we maybe could, and we still could see some back-end snow that actually accumulates decently. It's not out of the question, just less likely because we wanted to see more front-end snow. But it just put a block of warm air above your heads, guys, and snow was falling. It went through that warm patch. It obviously unfreezes, and then it falls in the hit, and then it goes through the cold patch because you guys are sitting below freezing at the surface in Charlotte, and in Charlotte all the way up to Greensboro, and through Mooresville, through Statesville, out to Durham, and then it just ends up as freezing rain. You just got a bunch of warm air shoved through that mid layer. And it's that easy. And that's why when we talk about it, you have to give a range, because it's like when you're down there, when you're near the snow line, and I think I said it 1,000 times yesterday, the models don't do a good job, and it's not just the models, but it's very hard to see. Is this going to be mixing, or is this going to be actually accumulating snow? Even if we see the surface temperatures below freezing, that doesn't mean it's going to be snow. If you go up 1,000 feet, and suddenly it's not below freezing, which is what's happening in Charlotte and a lot of areas in North Carolina right now. No. I mean, like a few days ago, the models had the storm moving north. It's still kind of going north. It's just not going to be as strong. Well, Charlotte didn't just get a ton of freezing rain. Charlotte has snow on the ground. I mean, it's light. It's like a 20th of an inch. Charlotte Airport has recorded a half inch of snow. So, and my brother lives 10 miles north of the city. He has a half inch on his balcony as well. But way underperformance so far. We'll see what happens. People keep coming in here and telling me Charlotte got no snow. It's just a lie. It didn't get a lot of snow, but it broke its snow streak of over 1,000 days without snow. It's just a very little amount, and now we're back into freezing rain. We'll see what happens on the back end. You're in High Point. We have about an inch so far. Is it going to snow again in Kansas City? I mean, the odds are that the storm that we were just talking about, our potential snow, our look for an Easter. Okay, it's someone next weekend. It may be late, and maybe in a Sunday, Monday. It's going to get snow out east. It looks very likely. There's just too much model consensus around this big trough. Okay, we saw the snowstorm that went up here like last week. Okay, we saw that over a week out. This one that's happening right now, we saw that over a week out. This one is going to happen late next weekend, and it's too far out to know. Does it dive very far south and bring southern snow? Does it kind of come more through the Central Plains, bring snow into Missouri, towards Kansas City, whatever? I know I saw someone ask about Kansas City. Does it push through a lot of cold air and then not pick up moisture, and then that becomes a mid-Atlantic New England storm? All of that's up in the air. What's looking very, very good though is this mega, we call it a mega troughing event. This would be colder air than we're even going to see on the back end of this one, which we're going to see temperatures 30 degrees below average in Tennessee into Kentucky over the next couple of days as the system moves out and through the northern plains and stuff. So this kind of mega trough event is going to happen very likely. We're very likely going to have some moisture down here in the Gulf. So who's going to see the snow? The Euro likes to keep it up through here. The GFS, the GFS actually wants to bring some very far south. You can see it like this. I mean, it wants to dig some snow. I mean, this wants to bring snow into coastal South Carolina, North Carolina. The GFS wants 1 southern snow, 2 southern snow, 3 southern snow. I would not bet on that. But the pattern is great for something to happen. Something will happen. Where does it go? I wish I knew. I wish I knew. But I do know that something's going to happen late next weekend because there's too much model consensus. This trough isn't just going to suddenly flatten out like this 6-7 days out. But it could become less amplified. It could become more amplified. We'll see. Will Florida see anything? I don't know. Hey, if you believe this crazy GFS model all the way out here, Florida would potentially. I wouldn't do that, though, if I were you. Will New York City get any next weekend? Again, only God himself knows when we're at this range. I can't tell you. It's extremely promising for eastern snow and potentially southern snow. When you get this amplified of a trough in January, so we'll see. We'll see how that translates. It's going to be snow. We'll see how far south that snow translates. That's what we're really watching. Lightly snowing in Mooresville again after heavy freezing rain. Okay, good. Sup. I'm glad to hear that. I do know. I've been telling people I think that you're going to get a little bit of actual real snow on the back end and not freezing rain. We'll see how well that does at accumulating. Zach Ladden, thank you guys. Sorry, I missed that. Let's see here. Is DC still getting anything tonight? DC's gonna see some light accumulations. I mean, DC, the latest the 01Z does want maybe up to 2 inches in DC though. Although with the underperformances we may see in North Carolina and some of this warmer air that's being pulled up into the mid layers, you'd want to take that down an inch and say maybe hope for an inch because we do, that's gonna pull up the coast. Hopefully not, though. How much do you think? I don't know where that is in Maryland. You could see Maryland here, though. There's the guesstimate for Maryland is 1 to 2 across the state, and it's going to be. It's not going to look exactly like this because it's going to be a broken up system, so it's going to be more banding. So it's kind of going to be a toss up for wherever you are in Maryland. So, yeah, we are expecting a little bit more of actual, real, fresh snow on the back end of this into Charlotte. Up through Greensboro out towards Raleigh. We'll see how much accumulates. We want you to get your big accumulation on the front end of the system, not have to get it on the back end because the back end is going to be more banding. It's not going to be a solid pocket of snow, which means it's only going to hit certain people. So, snow in Texas again. Listen, all these models want to call for some snow into Texas again. I'm not going to agree on that yet, but I do agree that next weekend. And it may not be next weekend. It may be like this Sunday into Tuesday. So we're watching this time frame, which is basically the 18th to the 21st, where every single global has very, very, very serious troughing moving back down into the lower 48 and sweeping out east. So we saw this happening 7 to 10 days out with the first winter storm we had. We saw this happen 7 to 10 days out on the models with this winter storm we're experiencing right now. And now we have 4 to 5 globals that all agree on that as well. We still have a negative NAO, which North American Oscillation, which means a pretty weak pressure gradient between your Greenland low and your Azores high, which usually means an more active pattern out here, active winter storm pattern and some colder air out here. So that looks really good for you. We're going to be in a negative AO for a little while longer, which means our polar jet's not fully strong. We're still getting some more cold air leaking in from that. Positive PNA for a little bit longer. Or we're just going to remain in a positive PNA, which also means more cold air out east. The teleconnections look really good for out east. All of our global models agree on a very, very strong trough pushing into the lower 48. Late into next weekend. We'll have to see the timing on it. 18th to the 21st is what I'm saying. And that's why you see models showing a couple chances for snow out east. Again, someone's going to get it. We'll have to wait and see who it is. Yeah, some of these models for Maine do want to pull the storm up and dump a ton. Like this would be a crazy, crazy snowstorm for Maine, right? But we don't know if that's going to happen. But the pattern, this would be maybe a decent one too if that negatively tilted a tiny bit more right there. So we'll see. It's not a bad outlook if you're in the east or the south right now for January. I said it yesterday. I would be more shocked if we didn't have another big winter storm out east or down south before we get out of January. Bet the over, guys. Bet the over. Like I've been saying, I said in December I would bet the over heavy to get snow into the south in places that haven't seen it in a while, and it happened. And that's not because I'm a genius. It's because you can just read teleconnections and you can read atmospheric patterns, and it was a very favorable pattern to get these snowstorms. So it's going to remain that for the next couple weeks in January. So more likely than not, we'll see snow in some weird places that haven't seen it in a while again, and maybe up the coast, eastern seaboard too. It looks pretty promising. Hopefully some of that mixes into our central plains, and northern plains are going to be getting some clippers soon, but not seeing any mega snow system up there. We are expecting over the next few days the Rockies to get some good snow too, so that's going to be good for the Rockies. You can see some high elevations. You could get some down to low elevation though with that troughing down in the areas like Salt Lake City, and potentially, I don't really think, potentially some snow into the eastern Colorado plains. That's where Morrisville has a bubble over it. We don't get storms at all anymore, summer or winter. What are you talking about? Every time I'm in Mooresville, it's raining. Every time I visit down there, it's raining. I don't know about that. Maybe it's just when I visit. Maybe I bring the bad weather with me. Do you think major snowstorms or blizzards can happen in Chicago from this shot of cold air? It's definitely possible. Now, we would want that troughing a little bit farther out west to give a chance for a snowstorm to tuck up through the Midwest. The farther out east it comes, your troughing is going to typically take some sort of pattern like this. You're going to have a dive, cold air is going to move in, you're going to have a low pressure system form along that boundary, warm cold air boundary, and it's going to ride up the coast. So typically if you want more of a Midwestern snowstorm, you're going to want to see that big troughing push in really far to the west, because then you'll typically see more of a pattern like this, and then that suddenly means snow through here. So it all depends. And this is the time range, and that's why we got to be careful. All the models see this troughing, this big troughing, and potential for some really big snowstorms, maybe one or two again in the east, maybe in the south, ending off January, especially even pushing into the end of next weekend. But if we could potentially see this shift, and then we get the cold air moving in through here, and then suddenly this turns into a Midwest snowstorms, and it kind of leaves everyone out in the east hanging. So it's far enough out where it's a question mark and can't be answered quite yet. In a few days, we'll probably get a really, really good look at it. By the end of this weekend, pushing into Monday and Tuesday, once we get into that 5-day range, 120 hours, we'll probably know we'll know what region it's going through. We'll know if we're going to get big snow here, big snow here, big snow here, or big snow here from that trough. You wouldn't expect it through here or out here, because it's gonna dive, and it's gonna create a strong low pressure, kind of down at the typically at the bottom of your trough, where you have these temperature gradients. You get some warm air pushing over the cold air. You get a lot of lift in the atmosphere, where you see these type of patterns. And that's what creates your low pressure that usually starts to deepen, especially if you're going to get a really, really amplified trough that's going to move off to the east. You'll start to negatively tilt. That low pressure will get stronger and stronger. You'll get more warm air tucking into your low pressure, more cold air diving behind it. So we'll see. It's still far enough. I'd say Monday and Tuesday we're going to know which region we're going to get the snow in, but we're not going to know snow totals or exact pathing. Richard, Jeremiah, Hannah, I appreciate you guys. Let's see here. Yeah, we've talked about North Carolina a lot, Rudd. I see you spamming it. I've spent so much time in the stream already talking about North Carolina, so I'm just taking a second so I can answer some other questions. We probably spent 80% of the time talking about North Carolina. Boise, yeah, this could be low elevation. I mean, I have a friend in Boise. This could be low elevation snow for Boise tomorrow. You do have some very cold air moving in. So what's our here? Let's go to our HRRR. Let's look at our Kuchera ratio real quick. Light snow down into Boise. What are we on? We're on our 12Z. Here, let's go to our 01Z. There we go. You guys are already getting some snow there. Here comes your snow moving into Minnesota. What's our latest HRRR show for you guys in the Northern Plains? I know you've been waiting. Ooh, it's going to be close in Minneapolis. Although overperformances are very normal up here with that snow ratio. We talked about that yesterday. Looking really good in Southern Virginia, central to southern Maryland, Delaware is going to be a little bit sketchy. So is Jersey and eastern PA, New York City, Long Island. You could get a little dusting to an inch. It's going to be up in the air. Yeah, Devin, is there another winter storm coming to the south? Yeah, we were talking about that. There's going to be another big winter storm out east. It's tough to tell, where it's going to be, what the accumulations are going to be. We're talking about 8-9 days out. We see very strong agreement. Appreciate the follows, guys, and the subs. Thank you, guys. I haven't mentioned that. I've seen them. We're too far out to see where it's going to go. We have model consensus over that over a very, very serious troughing event happening. Here, I'll show you. We've been talking about this. Every single model, CFS Canadian, Icon. Icon doesn't really go out this far, but the Icon shows the start of it happening up here. So this is going to be a snow event out here. Too early to tell. We'll get into Monday and Tuesday, and I'll put a video about where we expect that snow to be. Whoa. That was cool. Chris, I appreciate that. What's the snowiest state in the lower 48 or area of the state? Man, that's tough because, the Pacific Northwest mountains get some crazy, crazy totals. Sometimes during certain La Nina seasons. So do the Cascades. So, if you're talking about non-mountain snow, upstate New York, some of their I would say upstate New York probably has some of the highest totals with their lake effect snow events that they have, especially up towards Watertown and areas like that, up into the northwest of Syracuse. They got 70 inches in the last 5 days. So mountain snow sporadic. So is that next storm really going to be ice for the Mid-Atlantic? Oh no! Don't look at the future radar out that far. We don't know how it's going to move through. We just know that we're likely to see another big winter storm out there around that time frame because of the troughing we have coming down. Chris, I appreciate the sub. Thank you, Chris. Thank you so much, Aaron, Missy. Thank you guys, Christine. So nor'easters are possible with this. Yes, for this event, through that time frame, 18th to the 21st, a nor'easter is definitely possible. It'd be the right look, but CPC has it on the 8 to 14 day outlook. Yeah. So here's what's really great, guys. I want to let everyone know. For anyone who's really worried about their snow chances, I want to let everyone know. Thank you for bringing up whoever brought this up because I bring up this map every day and it's continued to look good. From the 18th to the 24th, okay, we're talking 14 days out. We're talking going into this next week too. We can look at our 6 to 10 day really quickly. Cold, out east, above average moisture, okay? We move forward, 8 to 14. This is through the third week of January. Cold, look where we have above average moisture. You see this? You see all of this? So we're going to have a few big amplified troughs moving through here. Very likely. We have some good model consensus. And the CPC is calling up for above average precipitation at the same time. This doesn't guarantee anyone a big winter storm, but if I myself drew a map to give the best chance for southern and mid-Atlantic and coastal snow, and really through the Ohio Valley snow, this is the map I draw. Now, you could get a big snowstorm. You get a big snowstorm anywhere across the lower 48 in this time. But this is the map I draw. I draw above average precipitation through the next 2 weeks in this region and temperatures like this, below average. It's just good. This, again, is going to cause issues for Northern Plains snow, though. I'm telling you this. This staying extremely below average. You're going to get tons of clippers moving in. So, but yeah, it's just... I almost feel weird. It's been such a good outlook continuously through January, and it looks like we're probably going to get another 1 or 2 chances out east. And we're not even talking February yet, guys. You guys remember, some of the biggest snowstorms in the south and out east have happened in February and March. Okay? Some of the biggest mega snowstorms ever have happened in February and March. It's January 10th, and we have a chance for a third eastern winter storm and a fourth. And I think we may get. I think if I would bet the over on 2+ on getting both, maybe another one, just because we have a good pattern for it and the teleconnections look good. I talked about it a lot in December that the beginning of January looked really good for snow chances in the south and out east, and we've gotten snow in the south and out east. So we're not pulling this out of nowhere. It's just the outlook is good. The outlook doesn't guarantee you snow, but it really pulls your chances up. And in the past years, we have not had this consistent troughing out east. We have not had this consistent negative NAO. We have not had, it just wasn't around. So, I would love for this to continue. Who knows? Does this continue through February and March? It's not impossible. But, we could be wrapping up this winter season in a couple months, and we could be talking about, wow, that was great snow it would probably be great snow for the East. I still think February we're going to have a little bit of I've been saying it, February, I think, especially early February, Northern Plains and the West Coast, I think are going to get a good shift back into some heavy snow. But it's been a good start for people who've been in a drought for a while. Not for everyone. It hasn't been a good start. A few years ago, there was a spring snowstorm in March. We had a couple feet of snow in the mid-Atlantic. Yeah. Yep, it can happen. Why are weather apps showing high temperatures for next weekend? DC, Northern VA. I'll show you why. Don't worry about it. When you have troughs move out, some warm air moves in for a little bit. Okay, let me show you. Here's how weather works. Cold air moves in, warm air replaces it. Cold air moves in, warm air replaces it. Now, sometimes you get blocking. Sometimes you get what we call we have a Greenland block where I'll show you, where you get a lot of warm air kind of piling up, and then your cold air comes in and it doesn't push out right away and it sticks around for a little while, so you can have some cold air sticking around. But typically, cold, warm, cold, warm, cold. That's just how it works. I can show you our temperature anomalies, and you're talking about next weekend in. Let me go back down here. You're talking about next weekend in DC. Here's our temperature anomalies. Let's push forward. Here's going into next weekend. Ready? Watch this. Here, warm up. This is probably what you're seeing on your app. Warm up. See all that orange pushing in to the east, and then watch this. Your weather app doesn't show you out that far, but that's the trough that every single model sees. That there's model consensus across all globals on. We need way more time to see what type of winter storm is going to set up with this, but right after where your weather app says you're going to be in extremely warm temperatures or above average temperatures, we're talking about potentially. Now, every model shows a different amount. When I say an amplified trough, that means like a trough diving much deeper with more cold air or pulling back and not being as cold. But every single global wants this trough to happen, and they've been right about these with the last two snowstorms over 10 days out. So your cold air is returning. That's what happens. Sometimes you get a little bit of a warm up and then it cools down again. This is going to go down as one of the coldest Januaries in over a decade for a lot of people out east, maybe longer than that. So you guys will not be. You have not had a lack of cold air this winter. This is the first winter, and I think like 6 years or 7 years where actually I could show you the map, but this entire region right here, I've looked at the maps, was below average in December. When you averaged up December 1st through December 31st, you guys were actually, for the entire month, your temperatures were below average. It was colder than it should be, or than your average temperature is for the month. You guys are projected again to be colder, this entire region I circled, actually a lot more. It's going to be like this. But you guys are projected to be below average for the entire month of January again. So cold air is not going to be an issue for you guys. Do you guys like how I drew that at the end? Mrs. and Marina, I appreciate you guys. I'm jealous of your snow total. We got 0.3 inches of ice right now, if not more. I hope it's not that much, Gianna. Oof. Checking in from Northeast ATL again. Recorded at 1.5 inches today. Turned to sleet. Ice pretty quickly. We were looking at snow totals northeast of Atlanta, and Gianna, and I'm seeing totals 3, 2.5, 4. But then you see some totals up here, and you can see here, look, 1, 1.5. What happened? Atlanta kind of lucked out too, and this is what I'm talking about. Sometimes you guys got to get lucky. there, and I was watching the radar too during the day. There was a band of snow that set up through this region, literally specifically across Birmingham and Atlanta, and then there was more banding up here. So there, you can see that kind of a gap. You can see where the gap of snow happened. If you just follow the snow totals, you can literally see where the gap of snow happened right here. Because you see big totals here, and then you see some bigger totals through here, and then up here. So, but Atlanta and Birmingham did pretty dang good. They overperformed. Does Northern Virginia? I bet. Yeah, I bet it's really nice up there in the mountains. Oh, I just missed it. No, my chat flew. Let me go back up real quick here, guys. Does Northern Virginia have a good chance of seeing a blizzard or a snowstorm? No. I mean, there's none in the forecast, so I wouldn't say a good chance, but it's definitely a possibility with our outlook. Will Texas see more snow this month? It's possible. There are multiple models calling for Texas snow, but it's too early to confirm nor deny. Well, it's too early to confirm, just because we can't read this. You know, this future radar wants more snow into Texas a couple times, but you know, we're confident that we're gonna have some well below freezing temperatures returning to Texas about a week, a little over a week from now. So where does our low pressure set up? How deep does this trough get? Where does this rain snow line ride up the coast? Is it farther out west? Is it farther to the east? We got to wait a little bit longer. Monday or Tuesday we'll have that information. Not exactly who's going to see the snow and how much is going to accumulate, but what region is likely to see a snowstorm. Is it going to be here? 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 So, or is it going to be a big swath of you guys? So super strong agreement about 18th to the 21st winter, some sort of winter storm out east again. Just we saw the last one, this one, and we're seeing another one. Snow in Florida for the new front coming. It's so cold. Well, did you guys see what's happening? There may be snowflakes falling as far south as like Orlando, Florida, or in Tampa Bay tonight into the early mornings. There's not going to be snow accumulating, but you could see some flurries through the air. Misty, rain. I appreciate this sub. Thank you, Misty. I appreciate that, Misty. But yeah, there's going to be some very. It's funny. It's not going to snow. It's not going to snow in Florida. But there are. We're going to see some very cold. You can't really read it on here. Some very cold surface temperatures moving into Florida tonight, and there's possibly going to be some flurries of snow down there. So, I mean, you know, that can be exciting for Floridians. You know. So. We'll have to see. Philly, please. I mean, the new HRRR wants an inch. It's going to be sketchy. We'll look at some new models here. We'll pull up some new models. What do we expect in the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast? Great Lake region. We'll look at some new models. 1 second, guys. We can see it. Pittsburgh, if you do Pittsburgh, if you do Philly. Okay, we'll go over where we still expect snow to fall. Give me a second. By 10:30, let me see here. Oh, okay. In Kansas, during our first winter storm, I knew we were gonna get a blizzard. Wow. Yeah, Kansas got hit hard. All right, really quickly. I'll do this, and then we'll look kind of forward again. We are going to have the latest GFS coming out here soon, so we can actually look forward and see what we could have late in the next weekend for possible southern or eastern snow again. There's going to be an eastern snow event, winter snow event next week, but we'll have to see who it affects. Hey, South Carolina will see a little bit more snow. Not much. All right, let's start down here. Let's go to our O1Z. Let's go to our OT2Z. It's just starting to load in, so we'll do here. Here's kind of where we're thinking the snow that could still fall down here. Take about a ½ inch off this because some of this time has already passed. So the HRRR thinks an inch and a half could still fall in Charlotte. It's possible. I think you got to get lucky with some banding in Charlotte if you want to see that. It's very possible also you could really sit in a freezing rain band for a little bit. You know what? Let's get a live update here real quick. Let's get a live update here. 1 second. Let me just do this. Let me see what's happening in Charlotte. I know I have people in my chat in Charlotte, but I want to see. Sandy, Jada, Jules, I appreciate you guys. Hey, EJ. Is it has your freezing rain turned back into snow?
I think it turned back into rain last time.
I'm on stream. I just need to know. I need a confirmation. He's really my brother was really comfy on his couch, guys. I mean, oh, Subwave. Jules, I appreciate it. 3 more subs to complete Subwave. I'm just getting confirmation, guys.
Hold on.
Okay.
It's very lightly raining.
Let me see your balcony real quick.
There's still snow on the ground, so
Yeah. So
it's not even like, I don't think it's the frozen rain. Oh, no, it might be, because there's like thick ice on this thing right here.
it's freezing rain. Yeah. So you guys might still get a little snow on the back end, but there's a lot of warm air over you. Okay, I'll call you back in a little bit.
All right.
It's still snowing in Athens? Yeah. Yep. Well, that's what I'm talking about. So, yeah, Ernie said it's still snowing in Athens. Guys, there's the coldest air on the back end, and there's some snow pulling in behind this. That's why you have a chance to actually get some surprise snow on the back end of this through this region. It's not done. Whoa. Wait, hold up. Chris, thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris. Wow. Chris just gifted, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 subs? Holy crap. Thank you, Chris. And Subwave complete. Thank you, man. That was extremely generous. I appreciate that. Okay, let me do this so I'm sorry, guys. I'm getting distracted. Ashley, I appreciate you. So, yes, there is some snow still moving in back here. So, South Carolina, Appalachia, North Carolina, Eastern Tennessee, you could still see some back-end snow. And with colder air, maybe you do get lucky in a little bit of with a ratio, a good snow ratio. So I want to wait until tomorrow morning to say that this was a flop for Charlotte. A half inch was reported at the Charlotte airport, which is good. I mean, they haven't had snow in over 1,000 days. But we had so many overperformances to the south. I was really hoping we get an overperformance through here, but you're low strengthened. Like I said, warm air in the mid-latitudes. Let's move up the coast because we do think we could we've been seeing a trend of a tiny bit more snow up here. Your latest HRRR does want to give Philly a chance for an inch. Central to South Jersey a chance for a half to an inch and a half. Although, again, I'd be very careful with these totals. You can see here 1 inch to 2 inch is possible through Delaware and Maryland. We'll see. Really, South Virginia out to East Virginia is going to be your winner right now. This is the best model to look at, HRRR 12K, if we're gonna be looking at this. Does want Pittsburgh. If it says 1 inch to 3 inches, I would say if you get an inch I would expect 1 inch or 1.5 inches in Pittsburgh. Let's hope you get a little bit more. Jerry, I appreciate you. We can go northeast. Let's look at our Euro for up here. Still think some snow up here. I mean, probably none near the coast. You're going to be a little bit too warm. I would erase all that snow right there. Still think it's a good chance for a tiny bit. Dusting. This isn't going to be a big system up there. Let me go to the Great Lakes region. I wish I had more exciting news for you guys, honestly. This is what could still be to come. Let me actually do our HRRR 3K so you can see what could still be to come. So you can see here. We'll go back to our 01. So I would take 1 inch off of all this. What could still fall? So that's what I'm saying. 1 inch and a half in Pittsburgh. Maybe 1 inch, 1.5 inches through eastern Ohio. West Virginia. You could still see a couple inches through there. Buffalo, yeah, another 1 inch and a half. Although if we go to our 0Z, Buffalo, you're going to get some, as we move farther in time, you're going to have another snow system moving through. So nothing, most of the excitement is gone, you know. Most of the excitement, guys, was back here. Most of the excitement was back here. I'm really interested to see what happens with this back end snow moving through the Carolinas and up the coast. And if we do have any overperformances in the mid-Atlantic, which is possible. But what's coming up next? Our latest GFS is about to be released. Loads pretty quickly, and I want to see what's happening with that. And I'm going to explain to you guys kind of our timing of what we could see next week, the end of next week, because obviously I think the odds of an eastern winter storm are strong. It's too far out to make any sort of projection on who's going to see snow and where it's going to go. But eastern U.S. is sitting in a great spot for another big snowstorm between the 19th, maybe 18th to the 21st. And I'm not just looking at this model run. All right, you can look at the GFS and say, oh, that's going to happen, then that's going to happen, and whatever. The GFS wants a ton of different snowstorms out there during that time frame. But we'll look at some of the models. What I care more about is troughing. Sorry, I'm just looking at some of the crazy stuff the GFS is doing here. 1 second, guys. Interesting. Here's our euro. Here's what our 12Z euro looked like, guys, around that same time frame. Again, aggressive troughing. Snow back into Texas. Christina, I appreciate you. Here's where our Canadian looks like around that time. Again, aggressive troughing. This would be potentially snow through this region. So this is probably, let's go to our GFS and let's look at our, hold on 1 second, guys. Let's look at our 500 millibar winds. And let's go out to, so here we go. So this would be the start of the event. Right about here, Saturday afternoon. Here's our trough right here starting to dig, and this is what we're seeing across the globals. Richmond, Virginia, no snow yet? Yeah, it's just starting to move in. This right here is a big shot of cold air from the north. Now, the models completely disagree and handle this differently. The GFS actually likes this a little bit farther to the south, and the Canadian likes this a little bit farther to the north. This right here would be pulling moisture off the Gulf and potentially off the Pacific as well. And the reason why we do not know where, why we need more time to see where the snow is going to go is because there's not enough time to know exactly where this is going to enter the U.S. up here. Okay, because this, like I've said, if this trough enters very far to the west, this is going to be a Midwestern snowstorm. If this trough enters the northern plains up here, this has the potential to be a mid-Atlantic coastal snowstorm. And really from the north, really anywhere in between there, this has potential to be a big southern snowstorm. But there is model consensus. Again, I showed it earlier, guys. This is just such a great outlook for you. Cold temperatures, above average precipitation, especially in the southeast. I'd pay attention to that. This latest GFS is going to... I don't expect it to change that troughing at all. I expect it to still show. When's Michigan's next big snowstorm? It could be. It could be between the 19th and 21st with that event. 18th to 21st. It's hard to tell. It really... Again, we have to see what's going to happen with that troughing. How much snow are expecting in Allentown, PA tomorrow morning? Not much, if any. What's the red mean? Ice, but you don't actually look at this future radar as like that's going to happen. This is just potential because of what I'm looking at when I look at this is not all this stuff going on, the snow and the rain. I'm looking at my blue isobars right here. That's your freezing air. And freezing air and moisture do some silly things, right? What does it look like for Georgia tomorrow? Well, this is all moving out of Georgia. So it's going to be very cold. We can see going into tomorrow morning. What are our wind chills in Georgia when we wake up tomorrow morning? Central to northern Georgia, 20s, yeah. Low 20s, high teens. Charlotte, North Carolina, yeah, you guys haven't gotten much snow. There's a chance you get some good snow in the back end. I wouldn't say great snow, but there's a chance that a half inch or an inch could fall, but it's really up in the air because you're going to need a good snow band to set up, and there's been a lot of warm air sitting up aloft above your heads. That's turning all that potential snow into freezing rain. Do you think it can bring atmospheric rivers or bomb cyclones? You don't see you see atmospheric rivers out in the west. You see that because that's what happens when the jet stream intensifies and pulls in Pacific moisture. You're not going to see that out in the East Coast. So same with the bomb cyclone. That's kind of a ocean event. I mean, out here it's just going to be it's just going to be a strong low pressure system over land. Let's see. Major Arctic not going to be as bad as they say. What? As who says? You guys can go look at the video I posted on December 30th talking about how the second week of January looked like it was good for a snowstorm in the south, and how 1,000 people roasted me in the comments saying it's never going to happen. No. End of next weekend, this type of troughing event I think is likely to happen. Hard to tell how amplified it's going to be, but it's going to be well below average temperatures. We're still going to be sitting in a negative NAO, partially neutral PNA, and the teleconnections look good to get very cold. 10, 20, 30 degrees below average for some people. Missy said, I believe you. Listen, okay, guys, I'm not going to lie. I was guilty of going back through that video and liking a bunch of people's comments who were just being rude as hell to me. I said, I wouldn't be surprised if we had 2 winter storms beginning of January, especially the second week looks good for the South. People were roasting me. Someone said, what we do if there's a TikTok ban. Yeah, can I do that real quick? I have to be careful about saying that before it happens. I'm going to be full-time on YouTube if that happens. Connor's Climate Corner, same as this. I'm going to be streaming full-time on there. And I'm going to be... that's where all my content's going to be. So I have an Instagram too and Twitter, but that's where I'm going to be. So, yeah, if any of you want to keep up with me, that's my backup plan. So any Long Island update, it's not looking great. Listen, a trace to an inch isn't impossible, but you're probably going to see flurries as this thing moves through the weekend. A lot of people up in the Northeast are going to see flurries from this thing moving up, but not much accumulation. Yeah, I know. I've considered Twitch as well. I would probably multi-stream. If anything happened to TikTok, I'd actually probably multi-stream Twitch, YouTube. That's probably what I'd do. But YouTube would be my main platform. It's a good platform for news-related content, more than Twitch, I think. So, like, this would be considered science, news, whatever. So... Any snow for central New Jersey? Our latest. Oh, let's see what our latest 02Z is actually saying. Still wants the totals are coming up a little bit in New Jersey. Still wants you guys to have a chance for a tiny bit of accumulation. Nothing special though, unfortunately. You can see it right there. I mean, a half inch to an inch possibly. It's not looking fantastic. It's really falling apart as it moves up the coast. It's moving off the coast, not up the coast. That's the problem. Could Georgia get some snow later? Most of it's out. It's possible. Most of it's out. Any big snow for Park City, Utah? I mean, yeah, over the next 24, 48 hours, you guys are probably going to have some snow accumulations. You've got some good moisture moving through the region, through the southern Rockies, through all of the Rockies, down into New Mexico. Do you think that a Maryland blizzard or severe winter storm will happen? Well, it's 1,000% going to happen again. This winter, we have a great setup to see it this winter, especially continuing in January. Yeah, I mean, there is, and I wouldn't normally say this, there's a chance, guys. I would put it at like a 10 to 15% chance that when you see model consensus full, and I'm not talking like 2 models agree. I'm talking about all 5 of the main globals we look at. CFS, Canadian, Icon showing a similar pattern. It's a shorter model. GFS Euro all showing mega troughing. 8-9 days out. 8-9 days out is not far to project or to look at big troughing patterns because they're more they happen over a bigger area. When you see that, there is the potential for a major blizzard. Now, I would never say it's gonna happen because you still need some timing and how it enters the country and the amplification of it. All needs to be right. But we have the first big piece to the puzzle that's probably going to happen. The confidence in this big trough next weekend is pretty high. Now, once you get that box checked off, is the moisture in place at the right time, and is the trough amplified enough? Now, if you have those other two boxes checked off, which is very realistically we could, the moisture, Gulf moisture being available looks very, very good as well. I think the biggest issue is going to be timing. But you could see a huge blizzards somewhere out east, whether it be down south, up the coast or through the Midwest, and this is an exciting snowstorm to look forward to. So I'm going to be burning my eyes out keeping up with this thing. I can guarantee you that. When do you think Central Kentucky will get hit again for snow? Again, next Saturday through Tuesday. We'll see. It's possible. That's not actually a bad place to be with the placement of kind of what our current models see as potential. Interesting stuff. New Jersey? Yeah, I think I just answered you about New Jersey. We have to see what happens with that storm. This storm was a joke in South Carolina. Well, finally brought snow back into South Carolina, so it's much better than it. Not a joke compared to your last 2 years. Because you guys been in a snow drought, but it's South Carolina. You know, what do you expect? South Carolina, super far upstate, did get some snow. You can see right here, up in the mountains, 2 inches, inch and a half, half inch to an inch. Anderson up to Greenville. So that's good. That is good. Snow totals, yeah, quarter inch around to a half inch around Charlotte, up to yeah. I mean, you know, it's underwhelming. The Carolinas are a little underwhelming, but it's still breaking a snow streak. So, oh wait, Julie says it's snowing in Buffalo. You know what I always say when you say that, Julie? Of course, it's snowing in Buffalo. Julie hogs all the snow. A weather app said heavy snow falling, and all it did was rain and sleet. Yes, and it said that in Charlotte as well. And that's because heavy snow was falling. It just wasn't hitting the ground. Heavy snow was falling, and then it went through a pocket of warm air, turned back into a liquid, and then fell faster, and then went through another body of very cold air at the surface, and is freezing at the surface. And that's why these apps have an issue, and these models have an issue with reading the temperatures in the upper, mid, and low latitudes. They want to just pretend that everything is as cold as it is on the surface as you go up in the atmosphere, and it's not. It was very heavy snow was falling above your head, and then it was melting and then refreezing, and it didn't have time to refreeze fully into a snowflake, but it got close, but it was still in liquid form, so then it freezes as ice. It's a game of inches. We almost got 5 inches near Tupelo in North Mississippi this morning. Another overperformance. You love to hear it, guys. And I said this going into tomorrow. I said some people are going to come back here and be mad at me, and some people are going to be very happy. We saw a lot of people get way more snow than projected. We saw people get less snow than projected. It's never. This is also something I like to explain. How some people don't fully get how to read. Let me show you something. This is actually really interesting. When you see models like this, and you see a big blue area, there's a guarantee. There's a guarantee that everyone in here isn't going to see snow or anywhere near what the totals are. Snow isn't just a big perfect blanket, and it falls equally in all areas of the blanket. You have certain areas where cloud tops are higher, it's holding more moisture in those cloud tops, and certain areas where they're lower and there's not as much moisture content. So snow doesn't fall evenly. The models, they can't predict exactly how those cloud tops and how those, how that's going to be set up. So they just blanket it with a big blue slab. So down to a local level, it's very hard to tell because, you know, a game miles can change how much snow you get. I mean, talk about Atlanta. Parts of Atlanta got 3-4 inches, and then you could drive 3 miles to the south and you could see a dusting. It's never going to be a perfect blanket. Someone's going to overperform. Someone's going to underperform. It's kind of fun. It's kind of like gambling. You know what I mean? You're like, ooh, could I get 5 inches? Could I get nothing? And then I'll be very sad. It's like exhilarating. We could tell, you know, where the snow's going to move through and how much you could get. But that's why they usually give you a range, because the clouds, the snow's going to be doing weird things above our head, and it's not going to fall perfectly evenly. It's just not how our atmosphere works. So go look at the GFS ensemble in Weatherbell, Midwest Ohio Valley. Okay. Is that okay? Yeah. I forget, Weatherbell comes in earlier. Well, do we have the latest GFS? Actually, we probably do on Weatherbell. Let me see. Still only 18Z. Still only 18Z. One second. You're looking at the GFS ensemble for the snow that's still to fall. I wouldn't do that. I would just look at a short range. This is a storm that's happening right now, but could still come, yeah. We've been talking about a lot about our storm that's potentially late in the next week. Cass, Misty, Marla, Christina, Julie, Calvin, I appreciate you guys. Do you think the weather apps can get fixed so they see the upper air temperature? Yeah, it's not the weather apps that need to be fixed. It's the models that need to be fixed, because the weather apps just choose which models they want to use, or they look at ensembles, and that's how they get their information from. So it's technology gets better every single year. Really, it improves drastically every single decade. Is when you see the biggest improvements on models, and you can see another 2 to 3 days out in general. But yeah, it's gonna have to do with right now the best of our information comes from basically weather balloons that are set up that are released into the air all over the U.S. Every 12 hours, and it gives us pressure readings, wind speeds, temperatures as it moves up in the atmosphere. It sends all that data back down to us, and then we can read, what the atmosphere is doing. So we have some satellites that can do that too. Weather balloons are more reliable, but the meteorological community is advancing very quickly, and there's going to be, and especially with this AI stuff, there's a lot of Google is experimenting with the new AI forecast model that looks like it's going to be absolutely insane. I hope it's not. I don't want to. Listen, if an AI model comes out, they're saying that their AI model can predict weather perfectly 16 days out. That's ridiculous. It can't. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Our troposphere is the second most variable real estate of atmosphere in our galaxy, behind Jupiter's. There's nothing that we're ever going to create that's perfectly going to forecast the weather 16 days out. But Google is working on something groundbreaking when it comes to weather forecasting, and that's kind of exciting. And yeah, things are going to get very, very with AI. I think things are going to exponentially speed up with weather forecasting accuracy. Jen and Ryan, I appreciate you guys. Oh, the GEFS ensemble. All right. Let's see here. Washington, D.C. One second. What, for tonight's storm? Where am I, guys? Here, we'll go into the 02Z. Again, I wouldn't expect to get more than an inch. You'll probably be disappointed. Our system's starting to underperform right now, and we're getting a lot of warm air wrapped into that mid layer. So, don't want to hype anyone up here. Next weekend, does Central North Carolina have a chance? Yeah, of course it does. I mean, with that type of troughing, you definitely have a chance. We'll have to wait. We have to wait a little bit longer to see how serious of a chance that is. Definitely a chance. I'm stuck in West Virginia. What's going to happen here? We're still expecting, you can see here, anywhere from 1 to 2 inches. Gracie, all right, well, I just stopped at the top. Well, oh, Gracie, I didn't even see you. Let me see here. Just stopped quickly to talk about the snow in South Carolina. Report that I got a bit of snow. I have to go. I'll be back tomorrow to hang out a bit. I appreciate you, Gracie. Sorry, I'm just looking at both chats. Let me see here. Is Tennessee going to get any more snow? Eastern Tennessee could see a little bit more back end snow, but it's mostly done. Yeah, Connecticut isn't expecting much more from the system. Let's see. I know some people act like you hand make snow. I wish I could. Don't have all the answers. I wish I knew it was going to happen 10 days from now, 16 days from now. Misty. East Tennessee is not done. Yeah. I'm here now and it's snowing hard for hours till tomorrow night. Yeah. East Tennessee, not till tomorrow night. Not till tomorrow night. We can go and take a look at our latest. There's a little bit of snow left in Eastern Tennessee. That looks like it wants to clear out in the next about 4 hours. How much should Fayetteville, North Carolina get? Well, it's looking rough for Carolina accumulations again because of that warm mid layer that's kind of sitting over you guys, turning a lot of that into freezing rain. Yeah, tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning. I thought you were saying until like tomorrow night. I mean, you know, we can go and you can see Eastern Tennessee on radar Omega. There's some tiny squalls over here in Central Tennessee, not attached to the main system. There's some lingering snow showers, Eastern Tennessee, I guess out here near Newport. Knoxville. So, yeah, nothing. You'll get some isolated snow showers definitely, and then through the morning they'll fade out. Now, here's what I'm watching right now for Charlotte. You can see on the radar right here, there's a band of snow, a heavy band of snow. That looks like it wants to move into Charlotte in an hour or two, about an hour. This would be your chance to make up for all the mistakes you made on the front end. It would have to be falling really, 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 really well, though, to make up for that. So you're sitting in a dry patch. We'll see what happens. There are snow showers currently moving through areas of Virginia up through the Mid-Atlantic. And Pittsburgh just went through, or Pittsburgh could be getting some snow on the ground right now as well. Does Georgia have a chance for more snow in January? 100%. Yep. I've been looking at weather forecasts. Looks too warm. No. I don't know what weather forecast you've been looking at. We can just take it straight from the Climate Prediction Center. Here's Georgia over basically the next week, expecting below average temperatures. Not the whole time, but for the average. Here's third week of January, below average temperatures. We have major troughing that's going to come in next weekend. Georgia will have another chance. I can't guarantee you guys are going to get any more snow. But again, I'll go over this again. We see the potential for a major amplified trough moving in next weekend. There's strong model consensus, and that could bring anyone snow down in the east, potentially in the south. It's tougher to get it down in the south a couple times in a row, but it is possible with our setup. Come on, our latest GFS should be loading any second. It's probably loading on Weather Bell right now. Let me look. Hold 1 second, guys. Not yet. We're lagging behind. So here's what's going on. For those of you who just joined, I'm going to show you the GFS just because we have the longest range on the 18Z. But right around this time frame, from the 18th to the 21st, they all see this. You can just look at the blue isobar lines there. Very amplified trough moving into the south. The Canadian, GFS, CFS, Euro. So where's it going to drop snow? We have to see if there's moisture there at the time. The GFS seeing that moisture there is good. The GFS has no problem with seeing low pressure development, especially down near the subtropics at around 150 to 200 hours out. It's not always going to be perfect, but that's why we use GFS during hurricane season. It's good with targeting moisture in that range. The Euro is very good with cold air troughing in this range as well. So we have confidence in this moisture, high confidence in the cold air, some confidence in the moisture. We're going to need this timing to be right around that time frame, which would be next weekend, late next weekend into the early week after. Where's it going to fall? How much you're going to see is up in the air. We could see more southern snow, Texas snow, mid-Atlantic, New England snow, potentially Midwestern snow. I think this would be closer to the south and to the east, but we need more time to figure that out. We're in a very, very good pattern still, though, for more active winter storms. We're still in a negative NAO, negative AO, positive PNA. Our teleconnections are still pretty nice. We're seeing good troughing, ridging patterns. Climate Prediction Center likes above average moisture moving forward and below average temperatures out east. It's just a good combination of events. What does Minnesota look like Sunday? Yeah, I know you guys are going to get some snow. We can take a look at some of these models up in Minnesota. Some of our shorter... Let's look at our 000, the HRRR. Let's go into winter weather Kuchera. There's what we've got moving forward on the HRRR. Again, you get more over performances in the north because you have a better snow ratio. 1 inch of precipitable water could put down 10 inches of snow. So we'll see. We'll see what happens in Minneapolis. I know that's where majority of people live in Minnesota. I have family who live in Sartell, right up here. But yeah, I mean the time frame for the snow accumulation beginning Saturday through Sunday. This wouldn't be bad snow. You guys need some more snow up in the northern plains. Nothing crazy. We could take a look really quickly. The NAM did terrible with our southern snowstorm, but what does the NAM think up here? NAM wants you to miss out on snow. I wouldn't believe the NAM after the job it just did, though. So let's look at the Euro. Yep, similar outcomes. The NAM said there would be no snow in Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, or North Carolina. Now, we're not having a ton of snow in South Carolina, North Carolina, but we are having some. And we had plenty of snow into northern Mississippi and then central to northern Georgia and Alabama. So the NAM just completely dropped the ball on our southern snowstorm. So I don't even want to show anyone that model right now. Is it going to snow in Atlanta, Georgia anytime soon again? Again, can't guarantee you snow next week, but that 18th to the 21st time frame, we're going to have a chance for more southern snow. It's a chance. It's too far out to really say it's a good chance. We like I said, high confidence in this big troughing event. And when you get a big troughing event like this, you're going to have more than cold enough air in place for more southern snow. The GFS likes and the Euro likes moisture down there at the same time. Not a bad recipe to get another snowstorm. We need to wait a little bit more time. I don't want to promise you anything that's not going to happen. But it's exciting. It's an exciting look if you're in the south because it means more another potential snowstorm. Luna, Akia, Kay, and Quay, Ryan, Jen, Calvin. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, I'm exhausted again tonight. I looked at my TikTok, and in this last 7 days I've almost streamed 30 hours, but then it also takes me an hour or 2 hours to record, edit, and post videos, and I do that 7 days a week, so that's 14. So I've worked on I've been on this working on my YouTube, TikTok, this page 45 hours in the last 7 days, and I also have a full-time job that I'm working overtime 50 hours and a kid. So if I seem tired, guys, I'm tired. But I just really love doing this, and while I'm tired, I'm just like forcing myself to do it because it's, I still enjoy doing it. It's not the worst. But some streams I got a little bit more energy. I might have to take a day off of streaming next week. Get my energy back. Recoup. Let me see here. I appreciate your dedication. Love learning about the weather. Hannah, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I appreciate the follows, guys, or the subs. GFS is coming in on Weather Bell. All right. We love when the GFS comes in. I can... yeah. Let me go back into here. GFS coming in on Weather Bell. Let's see. Come on. Give it to me. Oh, it is. Okay. Just starting to come in. Okay. So we'll let that load for a little bit. Are we seeing it on Pivotal Weather? We are. Just starting to load in. So I'm gonna let this come in here a little bit. The GFS Ensemble cloud models on Weather Bell also go to 6-hour precip. It shows where the snow could really be at. Ensembles are pretty good for things this far out. Here, let me go into here. 1 second, guys. Alberta, Canada. I honestly don't know. I'll take a good look at Canada tomorrow, so I'm ready for all your Canada questions tomorrow. Currently snowing in Virginia Beach. Really? Nice. Oh, yeah. I mean, I can see that. Yeah. That makes sense. Listen, I'm getting a lot of questions about up in the Northeast, guys. We're not expecting a ton of snow. Next weekend, that could change. Late into next week. Again, the 18th to the 21st, that could change. Looking forwards. So our latest GFS is loading in right now. Possible supercharged GFS, Fantasy Story GFS. I think you're right, Trickshot. I think you're right. East Tennessee, you have a couple snow bands in there. Nothing much more is going to happen. Not much more is going to happen. But we're expecting some of the coldest temperatures of the year to move in over the next 48 hours. Temperatures dropping close to 20, maybe more degrees below average. We can kind of see it here. We can go look at our temperature anomalies. And this is going to be quite interesting. Here's our storm's going to move out. As it moves out, you can see these temperatures moving into the Ohio Valley, down into the southeast, anywhere between 10 to 20 degrees below average. Tiny bit of a warm up, and then right behind it, here we go as we push into Tuesday. Same area, 15 to 25, 15 to 30 degrees below average. And then here's where things get interesting. Again, Tennessee up to Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, probably seeing the coldest temperatures there. Approaching 35 degrees below average. Not out of the question on Wednesday. And then that moves off to the east. I mean, the south, this is just going to be a very, very, very cold week moving forward here for most of the, really just the east in general, but especially the south, central and southeast. Snow started back up in Charlotte. Good. Yeah, I'm expecting a little bit of snow to still move through on the back end in Charlotte. So we were just talking about that. There's another band moving through that region. You can see right here. You guys were in a little gap. Let me move up here 1 second. The HRRRs are not going to do it well. I need to go to a live radar, but let me see if I can show you it on the HRRR before I do that. Let's go into our O2Z. Here we go. Yeah, it's not showing it really well on here. I'm going to open Radar Omega. If you're on TikTok, that's all the way on the bottom. I'll zoom in. But there was a little gap in snow, and you have your second band right here. This could drop really quick, just snow, not freezing rain into Charlotte. We want it to drop snow very, very quickly and very, very heavily to make up for all the lost snow on the front end. I don't know if you can see that at the bottom on TikTok. I'm pretty far zoomed in there. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This back end snow here might just be snow, not freezing rain. You've had a lot of that mid-layer cooled from all of that moisture. So let's hope we just get another good coating through Charlotte. For a lot of people who want to see that snow. Kenkwe, Akia, Luna, JP, Jennifer, I appreciate you guys. Can you see how it's going to look in northern Utah? Yeah, we can see if we can get a good look up there. I can go over to Weather Bell real quick. Let's see here. Let's move over to... We'll go to our HRRR, Utah. 00Z. What are we seeing here over the next 24 hours? Kind of 48. I mean, you know, nothing major. You can see some of these areas. Some of the mountains want to see up to 6 to 7 inches of snow. Really hard for models to predict mountain snow, though. The mountains kind of have their own sort of atmospheric thing going on. So you could see higher totals than that. So, but, I mean, not a bad snowpack for these ski resorts. Charlotte getting any more snow, Dom? I think a little bit more snow on the back end, so let's hope that accumulates quickly for you guys. You can see another band on the back end moving through, like we've been kind of like I talked about when I got on stream earlier. Like the first thing I said on stream is, Charlotte, you'll have another chance with this band behind it, but we'll see how much that actually drops. I think that's going to be more snow than freezing rain. Let me see here. Is it possible to get mainly snow in the Ohio Valley on the next storm, or is it still too early to call? Yeah. Yeah, it depends where the trough goes. Yeah, Trick. Haha. Hi, Phil. You're so funny. Phil Molina. That's my friend. Coming down steady in Southwest Virginia right now. Nice. I'm glad to hear that, Aisha. Heck yeah. I'm sad for Charlotte. That's where I have family and all my friends. And snow outperformed in so many areas in the south. And then it's decided to crank in some of that mid-level heat right over Charlotte. Let's get some good snow with this band. This band on the back end that's about to move into Charlotte could be heavy snow. It's not going to last forever, but it could be very heavy snow. There's the potential for it. So we'll see. I don't want to, you know. In the Ohio Valley, they told us 3 inches. Do you think we will get more? It depends where in the Ohio Valley. It's possible. Localized. Some areas will get more, but it's going to be random. JP, Jennifer, appreciate you guys. Everyone sends no vibes at once to Charlotte. Ready? Snow. Yeah, exactly. Augusta, Georgia. I'd be surprised if you got any more snow. I mean, I guess you could. I mean, I guess some of this could be some snow still. I would assume that you're having some mixing right now down there. Anyone in Augusta, Georgia that can confirm that? We got some flurries in Abel. Oh, how do you pronounce that? Albemarle? Oh my gosh, I can't. Albemarle, North Carolina, and then just some sleet and rain. Nothing. What did you like predict it? Yeah, there's a band behind all the snow that already moved through North Carolina. There's a second band on the backside. It's not as big, but could bump up some of those totals. Traveling from Toronto to Detroit tomorrow. What do you think about my route? Let's go back over. Let's go back over to Pivotal Weather real quick on my end. 1 second. Tomorrow, you are traveling from Toronto to Detroit. You should be fine. You'll drive through a little light snow. There's not going to be much ice or anything like that. There'll be a little snow flurries in the area. We are mixed right now, and we got about a ½ inch of snow around 8 to 9 a.m. Okay. Yeah, I'd expect some mixing right now. I don't think you're going to get any more snow, unfortunately. It's not impossible, though. So we'll get worse in Charlotte, North Carolina. You could see some back-end snow here to help with your accumulation totals. Single tats. What? Yeah, it's let me see. It probably won't, because if that warm layer stays, then it'll turn into freezing rain. Yeah, but once you get that precipitation falling for enough, you can cool down that layer. Trick. It's not going to stay warm forever. So it's cooling down. It should already be cooling down. Philly? What's going on, Neil? Yeah, listen, Philly, the high end an inch, I think, with this thing tomorrow. Off topic, but is Helicity on HRRR on Weatherbell? What do you mean by that? Is it on Weatherbell as well? Knoxville, Tennessee, when is snow going? What you mean, when is it moving out? I'm surprised it's still snowing in Knoxville, Tennessee. Looks like dry sliding in Richmond, Virginia. Yeah, right now, but that'll fix itself. Yeah, but that's going to lead to some lower snow totals. I think it is on Weatherbell. You know, I haven't had Weatherbell forever. I recently just got Weatherbell, so I'm still figuring it out. I used a bunch of other things before Weatherbell, but I just started to like Weatherbell, so I've only been using Weatherbell for like a couple months now. I've been through a lot of different software and sites for weather, but I got the $70 Weatherbell commercial package just because I think it does a lot. I wish Chicago had a snowstorm. Hey, potentially next weekend. We're talking about it. I don't want to hype anything too much. You know, I don't want to hype anything up too much, but here our latest GFS is showing. So let's see what we're loaded at. We're not loaded very much, but this is going to be an interesting run of the GFS. Okay. I almost want to show you guys. I want to show you guys this real quick. Let me line this up so you guys can see why we're next weekend. Why the 18th to the 21st looks like a good chance for snow. Big snowstorm out east. Let's go through here. We got our GFS. Let's just push it out here. You know what? Let's not look at the future radar because I don't want people to look at snowstorms and think that the exact look is going to happen. So let's just push it here. All right. All right. There's our GFS. Here's our Euro. All right. Here's our Euro around that same time frame. Look at this troughing. Really quickly. Let's look at our Canadian. Guys, someone's going to see huge snow out east next week. Way too early to tell who. Let's look at our let's look at our Canadian. Okay, just look at this. Look at this consensus on this cold air troughing right here. 1, 2, 3. Same time. Around the same time. You have this on these models between 215 to 240 hours. To 250. 220 to 250. Yeah. That right there, with the GFS having high confidence in the Climate Prediction Center having high confidence in that time frame for above average moisture down in the south. I'm not going to tell you who's going to see snow or how much, but I'm going to tell you I would bet heavy over on a big eastern snowstorm, and I might make a small parlay on that being a southern snowstorm as well. I like expressing your chances. You know, I like expressing this in a betting way because that's how my brain understands it. Would I put a parlay on this? 100%. And I would put my mortgage on that cold air troughing next weekend. The whole thing. I wouldn't even leave any. Thanks for the follows and subs, guys. Let me see here. When could Chicago see snow? Yeah, 18th to the 21st. Yep, trick shots. You right. Yep. Lower East Shore, Maryland. You guys could overperform. Latest HRRRs really like your area. Matthew Tanner, appreciate you guys. Talk to me, Connor. How are we looking at Maryland? We'll take a look. I think we could take a look at the O2Z, the HRRR. Not too shabby, right? Southern Maryland. An inch or two. Again, I would worry about some underperformances based on what we're seeing as this storm moves up the coast right now through the Carolinas. So you're almost definitely going to get a dust. Or you're almost definitely going to get a okay accumulation at an inch probably. But any more than that, we'll have to see. Guys, I'm tired. I am tired. I think I need to take a break. I think I need to let my mind take a break. It's Friday night. Yeah, like I said, I mean, I've now streamed like over 30 hours this week and then posting these videos every day, all this editing. Oh my God, I'm draining myself. I'll tell you this. I will come into tomorrow's live stream with a lot more energy. I promise you that. And no, Phil, that was not a joke about drugs. If you're still in here, okay? I will come in here with a lot more energy, and then we'll see. We'll have an interesting look at next week's event. This is kind of going to be out of our hair tomorrow, and we're staring right down the barrel of a huge freaking cold air trough. Something major happening potentially down the southeast again. Maybe not. Maybe it's a Midwest, Mid-Atlantic, Northeast storm. The cold air is hitting everyone though out here, and that moisture is very likely to rise off the Gulf. So we're gonna have something fun to talk about. Thank God, or I'd be out of business. Listen, sometimes you look forward and you're like, wow, this is gonna be a slow week. Nothing really active going on, but I can promise you. Here's our latest. I'm still watching this low. I've been watching this low pressure moving up here with this cold air, and I'm like, no models are seeing anything, but I'm still like, hey, I'm still watching this thing. But no, it's gonna be a very interesting week to watch as this unfolds. This big boy troughing event that all of our models have pretty strong consensus on, and what's going to happen with this moisture right here. Could be farther inland, could be farther south, could be farther out to the east. So we'll see. I appreciate you guys being in here. Anyone who sub followed. Yeah, I'm drained. I think I'm overworking myself. So hope you guys all have a really good night. I might throw back a couple brewskis because it's Friday night and I think I need a break. But I appreciate all you, especially all you who are in here, who've been in here a lot, hanging out with me. So everyone have a really, really good night. You know what I'm going to do? I was going to say I'm going to do a sub-only stream after this, but I need to give myself a break. Sky, I appreciate you. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. I'm going to post a video tomorrow talking about what our setup. It's really very early, but I'm going to post a video tomorrow talking about what our setup could be going into next weekend. Not going to tell you who's going to see snow, but why our snow chances are up and who may have the best chance. Because I think that's going to be interesting because that could be a very significant event just based on what we're seeing, the preliminary, what we're seeing. So Charlotte precip is back. Love to hear it. Guys, that back end banding is moving into Charlotte. There's a chance we get a little bit of back end snow there. I'm going to stay updated with my brother, see what happens. So South Carolina will have a chance next week. All right, guys, I appreciate all you. And I'll see you tomorrow.